Hi, I'm the Mad Computer Scientist. On this channel, I discuss math, computer science, and technology topics that are of interest to me. Today's video is going to be about variables and what they mean in math and computer science. Before we begin today's video, however, please be sure to ring that notification bell. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you find this content useful, be sure to share it out with your friends and family, who would also find it useful. Also, if you have someone you really want to annoy, share it out with them as well. After all, views are views and the algorithm doesn't seem to care. Now, we are going to discuss variables in today's video, and we'll start with what they mean in math. Now, what variables mean in math is fairly simple, and I know some of you have tuned out as soon as you heard the word math, but it's okay, it's going to be short. We're going to get to the interesting part, at least to me, soon. Now, a variable in math is simply a letter we use for an unknown quantity. The truth is, it doesn't have to be a letter. Many of you have been doing algebra for years without even knowing it. And the truth is, even though you thought you have never used algebra since you left high school, plenty of you use algebra every day and you just don't realize it. In fact, there are many types of math we use every day without thinking about it because we have never been told that they are in fact math. However, a variable usually, at least in the case of equation, only has a certain number of values it can hold, or it can be. If we're doing with a function, we do have an infinite number of values the variable can hold, but only certain values for the equation will actually satisfy the function. With that being said, let's go into what it means in computer science, the fun part I remembered. Now, a variable in computer science is very similar to how it works in math, but it's not exactly the same thing. Yes, we do use variables for things that we expect to change value. However, in computer science, we also have a special type of variable called a constant, which is a variable we're not going to change the value of. This term is used differently than it is in math. And the important thing to remember in computer science is that a variable is like a box. It holds a value, and what is in the box can change over the course of the program. And also, if we want to get briefly into the concept of type, it's not that hard to demonstrate. For example, I have a box here. Let me see if I can get a little closer so you can see what it is. The lid for this box is missing, but based on the shape of the box, you can probably have a good idea of what the box should hold. And the shape of the box is essentially what variable type means. If this were a computer science variable, this would probably be a harmonica type variable, if the harmonica type variable was a thing, although with object-oriented languages we can define a harmonica type if we so wish. Gotta love object-oriented programming. But if I wanted a box to hold something different, I would have to make a different type. For example, let's say I wanted a box to hold my laundry. I would make a type called laundry basket. Now, the types vary from each and every language, and every language will have slightly different types, but you will find some common types in all computer programming languages. One of the most common types is an integer type, which is basically the whole numbers you all learned about in high school, and hopefully earlier. You also have the float type, and that just means decimal numbers. You have the Boolean type, which can hold either true or false, and believe me, computer scientists do use Boolean algebra quite a bit in their work, as do programmers, and Boolean algebra is one of those things you use every day without realizing it, believe it or not. And if you ever do decide to learn Boolean algebra, I have good news for you. All the answers in Boolean algebra are either true or they're false. Makes it a lot easier, and you don't have to worry as much that you have the wrong answer. No matter what you try, you have a 50% chance of getting it right, even if you don't know. There are also objects, which are user-defined variable types. There are strings, which are where we deal with text. And if you want to know more about all the different types in a specific language, I would suggest you consult the documentation for that language. The truth is, both computer scientists and mathematicians rely on variables to do what they do. But because they are different fields, even though computer science arose out of mathematics, they use the terms in different ways. And you have to be careful knowing which one you're talking to, because when I say variable, I may not mean the same thing the mathematician does. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And go out and write some code.